It was such a tremendous performance.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Nation News Touchline Report, brought to you by Stag Bear. Stag Bear, it's a vibe. My name is Nick Maitland, and joining me for this special episode is none other than football maestro Renaldo Pee Wee Gilkes. And I only call him a maestro because the list of accolades is way too long to mention, and we have a bit of a time crunch today. But welcome, Pee Wee. How are you? And how's the two competitions that we're come to talk about, the Republic Cup and the Women's Super League? How are they going for you?
Thanks for having me, Nick. It's always a pleasure to be here amongst you. And usually you have AGB. Yes, we usually have AGB.
He's out. You know that this sports desk, we don't just cover football, and this is a world-class sports desk. You were a part of at one point in time. And AGB has gone to cover, well, he went to cover the CPL final between the Barbados Royals and the Jamaican Tallowers. We know who won, and it wasn't Barbados. So we'll move quickly along
But
from
someone
there.
spoke to me and told me that he went over to the Manchester Derby, and so he was the one giving the input to the coach in the air. So I don't know, you know.
But and they said that a lot of defeats has followed AGB as well. So I don't know, some dangerous body tell me so earlier. Anyway, you are the technical director at Kickstart Rush, and they have two teams. Well, they have a team in the men's tournament and one in the women's tournament. And you were speaking about the men's team. You had two 5-goal victories, 5-0 and 5-1. Yeah. Then you lost to Wharton, but you bounced back this past weekend against Silver Sands. What was the ingredient to that bounce back victory?
But basically, I think that what we experienced against Wharton gave us a taste of what it's like to play against a Premier League opponent, a superior opponent, or superior ranked opponent. So going into that game, we look back at the Wharton game and where we went wrong, or where we could improve rather. We spent some time and details, even though we had a rain hit week last week. We were able to do some theoretical stuff and had some dialogue. We went into the game, but we were relatively well prepared. We dealt with the game in its entirety. I think we had full control of the game. We conceded, I think, within just after the 80-minute mark. But before that, we had our opportunities. We did our homework. We would have seen Silver Sands play. I think the guys executed to suit. Again, I just want to reemphasize that the game against Wharton really gave us that push to face an opponent who's ranked within the highest tier of the football ladder in Barbados, and we were able to do our research and basically capitalize on what we would have seen, and kudos to the guys for the work that they put in.
3 wins then out of your 4 games. Tell me about Sekani Mears. I see him on the pitch. He seems to be the midfield general, and a lot of the players rely on him a lot. Tell me about his influence.
Sekani's his transformation. For those who may not know, Sekani would have played collegiate football in the U.S. Up in Illinois, and he's returned with a measure of maturity. You know, I think that his experience on the collegiate circuit has been tremendous for us. He's our captain, not just of his ability, but I think he has that measure of respect from the fellas. But most importantly, from what I have discovered, he bridged that gap between our younger players and the more experienced players. And when I say younger players, we do have a number of them. We had 14-year-old Kimani Trotman. Wow. We have 15-year-old Kamari Johnson, 50-year-old Jordan Bryan, 16-year-old Jaden Greenwich. And we have a couple others. Yeah, and all those guys make up the 18. And we have a couple others knocking on the door. So Sekani, he kind of bridged that gap between the two, and he's done a fantastic job. He is our midfield maestro. He's the one who connects the team. And I do rely on him quite heavily in terms of transferring the instructions from the bench onto the field and basically being that voice for me on the field. So I think he's been a huge help for us, and we're very proud that Kickstart Rush to call him our club captain.
So your hopes, your thoughts, your dreams for Kickstart the men in the Republic Cup was the ultimate goal for you guys?
Well, initially we came into the competition just using it as a gauge to, basically to be a part of the restart for national football, but also to give ourselves a gauge of where we are and where we could possibly go. Obviously, the final destination for Kickstart, or the ultimate destination for Kickstart rather, is to play in the Premier League. We're in Division 1, so we're using the Republic Cup to basically identify what areas we're really good at, what areas we can go in, and that's both technically, administratively as well, because we want to identify the right mixes at a managerial perspective and also a playing perspective. So we would like to obviously target a knockout, and by getting into knockout, we receive that visibility and attract the right players, not the best players, but the right players to the club.
Fantastic. Well, let me tell you some of the teams you will have for competition later on if you get to the final 8 or the final 16. On Saturday's results at Friendship, Barbados Soccer Academy, another famed football academy. They beat Bagatelle 2-1. Pinelands, they defeated Benfica 5-0, 2 goals for Ray Francis there and 2 goals for Gerard Maxius. So I think you should watch out for Ray Francis especially. At Briar Hall, we had St. Andrew Lions beating Fitzvillage 4-0. Darico King with another goal there.
Fitzvillage?
Yeah, beating Fitzvillage.
Yeah, and
Fitzvillage
drew it on Paradise.
Paradise, right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's how the tournament is going. Potential Ballers beating Youth Milan 1-0. Demar Linton, he scored a goal there. At Rice's as well, I think this was before your game, or yes. LNR United, they beat Whitehall 3-0, and amazingly enough, LNR United have only conceded 1 goal this entire tournament. So I think.
And I've seen them play. They play a pretty exciting game. They're aggressive without the ball, and they're very flamboyant with it. They have like guys like Tisha and Lord.
Yes, Bullet, as they used to call him in the Defense Force Sports program. And of course, Kickstart beating Silver Sands 2-1. At Greens, Bredenshill had a 3-1 victory over Spartans. Bredenshill continuing to do well, and Gaul Hill and Checker Hall sharing the spoils in a 3-all draw. So those are your competitions so far. Then we return to Touchline Report. We'll talk about the women's games on Sunday as well as more men's games that happen on Sunday. And we are back with the Nation News Touchline Report brought to you by Stag Bear. Stag Bear, it's a vibe, and it's certainly a vibe here with my good friend Renaldo, PV Gilkes, and of course AGB is missing. We'll tell you why afterwards if you have now joined us. So on Sunday, now this is very important because PV, even though he is the head coach for the men's team, you are the technical director at Kickstart Rush, and of course that means you have the dominion of all the teams, and you have a women's team playing in the Women's Super League, and they won 6-0 over RF Prime. Tiana Bino on the score sheet, Shawnee and Smith, Asha Stevenson, really good player. She got 2. There was an own goal from RF Prime, and then Crystalline Chandler scored in the 61st minute. Arantes Lawrence is coaching this team, but first tell me about the team, these women representing Kickstart.
So previously, I wouldn't have had a lot of engagement or interaction or direct engagement with the girls because I wasn't in the capacity I am now. However, since being there, I've obviously become a bit more involved. What I can say is that Chanel Stephen, she's one that's usually in the background. She's not usually on the score sheet because she's a defender. But I think that her role within the women's team is fundamental to the success in which they've been having. She's like the big sister, the auntie. You know, she's like the connector between everyone, and she rallies everyone. Everyone listens when Chanel speaks. They listen. She has that measure of experience that makes her a very good player, but more importantly, a very good mentor. I see how some of the younger girls respond to her, and to be honest, when she does decide to retire, there will definitely be a place in the backroom staff for her at the club. But she's been one that's been fundamental. You mentioned Arantes Lawrence. I think that the relationship that Chanel and Ryan bring, like, to have that dialogue before matches, even at practice sometimes, have that dialogue. I am often the guy in the back listening and giving my advice where necessary, not overstepping, because at the end of the day, you give someone a job, you have to allow them to carry out that job, and I think Arantes has been doing a fantastic job. He has also had some support from you have the likes of Shad Paris, who has been definitely the assistant coach, but he's been also doing a lot of work with girls physically, helping out their fitness and so on. So with the girls team, I'm very impressed and pleased with the results they've been having, and hopefully we can continue in this vein and go into the playoff. If
Kickstart wins both competitions, how big will the party be?
Very big. I hope from a development perspective, however, most importantly, I would like it to be a catalyst for attracting members, because continuity is what we want at the club.
So let's talk about the women's game. Let's talk about the women's game. 6-0 for Kickstart Women, as we said, over RF Prime. Also, UE Blackbirds Women, they got a 4-0 victory over Technique Women. Shanice Stevenson with 2 and Rihanna Cyrus with 2 as well, and they are really fighting for the golden boot among the women. This fixture at Holders Hill was quite outstanding. Fitzvillage Women, VFC for many, beating Combined Women 17-0. say that again for you. 17-0 Fitz Village over Combine Women, and Combine Women.
And that's not 17 serving nil?
No, that's 17 goals to
okay.
nil. Let's talk about the other men's games on Sunday. FC Megaballers beating FC Bytes-Mill 3-2. And this was a big one as well at Friendship. Cosmos beating Red Hill 11-0. 11.
That's a Northern Derby. You have Cosmos, yeah.
Yes, Northern
Cosmos
Derby.
from Spitestone, Red Hill from Indian Ground.
Yes.
Yeah.
He knows his stuff. That's why he's the maestro. But Red Hill were down to 10 men, I must say. But 11-0 is.
But wasn't the previous year Lions down to 10 men as well against Fitz Village and they won?
They were.
So I mean, it all depends on the quality of the squad and the experience within the squad. But sometimes 10 players often play better than 11 sometimes, right?
Exactly. And really, truly, when the guy first was sent off for Red Hill, it didn't look as though it was 11 versus 10. But as the second half wore on and players got tired and spaces developed on the pitch, it looks worse and it looked bad. St. Philip Academy, they beat College Savannah 8-2. Had a lot of big scores here. And then we had Hillaby beating Beverly Hills 2-0. That was at Briar Hall. Barbados Fire Service got their first win of the tournament against Technique at Briar Hall as well. Holders Hill, Parish Land beating United Stars Alliance 4-3. Kevon Lucas, you're familiar. He scored 2 for USA, but they lost 4-3 to Parish Land. And then Eastern United, a big win over Young Boys. They won 6-3. So those are all the fixtures this weekend.
That's not like a familiar scoreline. 6-3.
6-3. Yeah, 6-3. In English football, you had a famous scoreline that was 6-3, but none of those two teams concern me anyway. So it doesn't matter. Don't bring it up. No, because none of those two teams concern me. No one sent me the result this weekend. So I was like, oh, beautiful. Everybody now realizes that none of these two teams have anything to do with me. So that is just fantastic. Perfect. My team. We may name this, but they won 4-0 last week. So, did your team play by chance? Your international European team did?
Yeah, but I have them on a bit of a ban at this time. I have a bit of a ban to the year turns based on 2 previous results. So
I know how you feel.
Right.
I know how you feel. Because currently I'm on a 1-year loan,
Oh, you can do that?
Yes, you can do that. You can transfer your membership, your club membership.
Send me the link.
I will do that. And tell you, speak to my guy that I spoke to as well.
Right.
Over in Germany.
Oh, he got room?
Yeah.
We'll talk.
Yes, we will talk a little more about that. But so going forward in this tournament now, you know who your next game is against?
So we play Young Boys. I actually went to the game last night at Holders Hill. As the name suggests, they are a very young unit.
You have a young team.
Yeah, I have a young team as well. I think the only 30 plus player I have may be Jesse Turton. He scored one of the goals the other night, but most of the others are sub 30. But yeah, I have a pretty young team as well. But watching Young Boys, they started with a lot of enthusiasm. I think the score at halftime would have been 4-3 against Eastern. So they started with a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. But then you see, obviously, the inexperience, a bit of immaturity within the squad. There was a bit of imploding as well. So hopefully when they do face us, because every game is played on its own merit, so hopefully when they face us, that some of those challenges still continue and we could capitalize on them. But we'll be preparing for that game just as we prepare for the others, because a draw or win certainly guarantees us a place in the next round, even though we have 9 points. So SARS has 6 and they play again, so they could finish on 9. Right now I think Wharton has 9, they have a perfect record in the group. So with a win for them, they could go on 12 or they could stay on 9, but in the event that there's a 3-way tie at the top, we don't want to put ourselves in a position to say, oh, we got to depend on someone else.
Right.
So we will be preparing for this game just as we have for the others. And we'll be looking to basically score a lot of goals, because going into the next round, you want to travel with that confidence, that serves as a motivation for you, that when you face the next team in the knockout round, all those other games that you played before didn't matter, but at least you go in that game on a psychological high. And knowing right now who we'll be playing against, but we treat every team like the last. Yeah.
Treat every game like a cup final.
Every game like a cup final going into this round. When we last played Capelli, we didn't fare as well, so we want to represent the club well. We want to give a good showing of the club, and this is on both fronts, both male and female. I think that the FA has done a fantastic job to get these ladies back out and playing. I've been to a number of the matches. Probably I've probably attended more matches this year than in my entire previous time.
It feels that way.
Right. So credit to the FA for restarting female football. I imagine with the collaboration maybe with the entities such as the secondary school football league, we can have more female competition.
Yes, yeah.
Because it only serves us well. I know that there's going to be a female nations league, you understand?
Yes, yeah.
Coming
End of 2023. Yeah.
Yeah, so we utilize these tournaments basically to do some recruiting, identifying and recruiting, and getting the interest back there. But I think it's been a very outstanding and refreshing opportunity for the girls to get playing again. And who would like to win $20,000, right?
And so that is the end of our discussion for another week. That is the final whistle. We have rung the bell, and hopefully next week Anmar will be back from CPL, but time will tell. And to our brother Husani, sleep well. See you later.